It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Gary K. and
Steph Beckett, and this is another episode of rAVe TV, the Pro AV industry's only weekly live TV show. We are coming at you live on the rAVe Pub site, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and a few other places, and YouTube. Those are our biggest ones. So yeah, this is where Gary and I just talk about things we want to talk about, but we also talk about Pro AV.
Hey, Steph, did you recently we hired a new marketing analyst. Have you seen the data on the popularity of rAVe TV?
Yeah, I actually did.
I was blown away by that.
Yeah, he was like, "Did you know how many people actually watch this?" And I was like,
"Our
no.
trajectory is awesome. We'll publish some of that stuff, but we're very excited. We appreciate you for appreciating us for putting this show on, because when we started it over 2 years ago, we had no idea. We were like, "Hey, let's do this." I always wanted to do this,
you did. Even before I started, you had wanted.
I did. I wanted to do it, and we never really had the perfect co-host until Steph came along. She became the perfect co-host for this, and I just want to thank everyone for watching. We're blowing away the numbers we thought. I had no idea where our numbers were, honestly, but blown away. Definitely the most popular single thing we've ever done from a video standpoint. So we're very excited about that, and I think it means that y'all appreciate the fact that we're willing to do this even at trade shows and places like that, and we appreciate it. And so that means that our small talk at the beginning, people are willing to
listen to
it and get on. So speaking of which,
okay,
I understand that, Steph, that you actually saw Barbenheimer this weekend, meaning you went and saw Barbie and Oppenheimer.
So I'm doing that this weekend, actually.
Oh, okay. So you haven't seen them yet.
No, because here's the
I thought you saw one of the two movies.
I've seen Barbie twice. I'm going to see Barbie a third time. I just haven't seen the Heimer part of Barbenheimer. So the thing is, it is so hard.
There's this whole phenomenon of Barbenheimer where people see Barbie and Oppenheimer. We actually have a graphic for that that we're going to pop up here. Just that they see Barbie and they see Oppenheimer, or vice versa. My daughter actually did this. Annabelle did this back to back.
Of course she did. That does not surprise me at all. What did she think of both movies?
Actually, I didn't talk to her, but she said I should definitely go see Oppenheimer. I think she said that I would appreciate Barbie, but I probably wouldn't love it.
I kind of felt the same way, but at the same time, I think Barbie is for everyone. There is a monologue in Barbie that is so an accurate portrayal of what it is like to be a woman in this day and age, and I was not expecting it. But Barbie made me cry. I wasn't expecting for such a fun movie to make me feel real emotions. But Greta Gerwig, she's amazing. I would trust her to do anything at this point. Every movie I've seen from her, I've loved. So
I'm definitely going to go see it. I'm going to see Oppenheimer tonight, actually.
Oh, nice. So, okay, you'll have to let me know what you think. I'm obviously very excited for Oppenheimer as well. Christopher Nolan, he knows what he's doing at this point.
I'm excited just because I know the music's going to be good. So I'm excited to see that or hear that. And it's got a great cast.
It does.
If you include the marketing of the movie, it's cost about $190 million to make it and market the movie. It's made almost $100 million. So it'll definitely make its money back and do well if you look at the global release, because they released it only in a few theaters, right? I mean, it was a small number of theaters in the beginning, so it'll continue to grow. But Barbie's blowing away. Barbie did 150 million, I think it was, this weekend.
Yes. It is literally already made up its budget and then some, and that's only going to continue throughout the coming weeks, because for the first few days, no one could get tickets to anything. Theaters were so full, which I think is exciting, because for the longest time we've been theaters are dying. No one cares about going to see movies in the theater anymore. And it's movies like Barbie and Oppenheimer that are going to get people back. Which sucks that because now there's like now there's the strike, so we're gonna go back to like not really having anything, but we're gonna go out with a bang.
I know that's exactly right. Yeah. Although we'll have tons of TV shows and stuff like that now you have a chance to go watch the ones that you've heard. Like I watched this Point Break or Break Point.
Oh, is that the surfing?
Match Point.
Oh, Match.
No, that's on tennis. The documentary on Netflix on tennis, and I want to watch the Formula One, the F1 documentary.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this weird ass show. Oh, man, I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
On Apple TV called Invasion. I loved Silo on Apple TV, and I'm now watching Invasion. Invasion is the slowest series I've ever seen. If any of you out there have been watching Invasion, I'm on like episode 8. I'm still waiting for something significant to happen, and I'm convinced something's going to happen. But there's a tremendous amount of plot development, like a tremendous amount. So it's and character development, like a lot of character development, more than I've ever seen in a series.
I'm in my like watching old TV shows era. I've been watching Prison Break.
Like Brady Bunch?
No, old as in like Prison Break from 2005.
Okay, yeah.
But that was like such a good like TV was so good there for a while.
And
like
that was Fox that did Prison Break.
Yeah. Prison Break is like good TV. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like a good 20-something episode season and like there's not a lot of filler episodes. It's just like I just like watch every episode and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta know what's gonna happen next. Like it's been so long since I felt that way about a show. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm not a big Grey's Anatomy fan, but that's still that show, right? I mean, that's 20 years later. It's still going on like that. So
I have never watched that show, and I don't think I ever will because at this point, like if I don't know, like I don't need to know. You know, like there like 15 seasons, like that's overwhelming for me. So
I think it's like 20. I think it's like 20 seasons.
That's crazy. Yeah, nothing needs to be that long. Nothing.
Yeah.
I can't think of one TV show where they need to be doing that.
That was like almost 30 years. That was a great show. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. But it's also like a cartoon. It's like, 20-minute increments. So like, that's fine. And like The Simpsons is also really good at like predicting what's going to happen in the world. Have you like seen that phenomenon where like
and South Park. And South Park.
Where like every big thing that's happened in the world has been predicted on one of those shows.
I have a friend that said, I can't believe you told me to watch South Park. It was so offensive. I was like, just watch the next episode and you'll see that they offend everyone else. Like they only offend people. They offend everyone. It's just that you happen to watch the one that they're equal offenders.
I've never watched like a full episode of South Park. I've only watched like clips because I do not like adult cartoons per se. Like I'm so happy for people that like that. Like y'all got it, but like I'm not watching that.
Like, and the Barbie movie is definitely not an adult cartoon.
It's not a cartoon. It's real life. Like I just don't like. I mean, I don't like Family Guy. What are other ones that are always on Adult Swim? Like.
Yeah, I mean the whole series there, like Ren and Stimpy, and
that's old though. That's like I did watch that as a kid, but like the newer stuff, like I don't know. I just don't. I don't
watch it either. But we should probably talk about stuff in the industry, and we actually have a code for you to register for CEDIA and the Commercial Integrator Expo. You can use the same code rAVe CE23. If you click that, if you scan that QR code, or go to Google. CEDIA registration and then type in rAVe CE23. You can use that code and register for free and get access and entrance to both of the events. Which is
exciting. This is
you can find out more details on our website. First week of September.
Big year for CEDIA Expo because it's going to be co-located with Commercial Integrator Expo, a brand new show. And we've started to see kind of how resi-mercial has become a thing in our industry, how even at CEDIA, there were products that worked for both markets and they fully leaned into that. And so now there is this whole new show co-located with them. So there is a whole like commercial aspect to CEDIA, which I think is really
and they're focusing well on the resi-mercial stuff rather than just being another commercial AV show. They're not. They're really focusing on how you'd use the high end, the commercial stuff in the home and how the home integrator does bars and restaurants and things like that. So if you went to Infocom or you've gone to ISC or another show, this is an interesting show because a bunch of toys because of CEDIA, but
Yeah.
also you get to see some of the UC stuff and some, other brands that are going to be. You can see a list of all the companies that are going to be there, but Sony's there along with their residential and commercial. Epson's there along with residential, commercial. Planar's there. Legrand's there. Crestron's there. And Aver will be there as well. So we do have a message from Aver, just as one of our sponsors. We have 3 big sponsors: Aver, Legrand, and Shure.
Mm-hmm.
And Aver just announced the MT300N, which is an NDI matrix tracking box. They introduced it at Infocom, and it's a multi-camera switcher. There's a lot of companies out there that have those multi-camera switchers that are USB based switcher. This particular one has the voice tracking software built into it. So if you want to take a off-the-shelf PTZ camera and turn it into a voice tracking PTZ camera, so it works with whatever kind of microphone system that you're using, it'll do that, and it does it across NDI. So it means you can put this on any network, and you can control it, and you can send the content with the same network using.
And
NDI,
microphone brand doesn't necessarily matter. Yeah,
so if you're using a rAVe, using Shure, using Sennheiser, using Audio Technica, using Logitech, whatever you're using, it's gonna work. And the advantage of doing voice tracking is that the video tracking of a person works great, but it's not as smooth as voice tracking. With voice tracking, because someone is talking, with the video tracking, you sort of like jump in frames. When someone's talking, they tend to move simultaneous to that, and that allows them to continually track them, as opposed to tracking them in increments of partial seconds. You're tracking them in real time.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot more about that if you want to go to averusa.com/product/PTZ-tracking-box, or you can click that QR code and it'll take you directly to that box. So, what else we got on the news today, Steph?
So people have talked a lot. Like I've noticed in the past few launch events I've been involved in, a lot of people have asked us about the Sphere in Las Vegas. So we published a story this week that's like, what does it look like inside? That's like always everyone's first question who's talked to me about it. They're like, what does it look like inside? I'm like, I could not tell you. I've never been there. But I knew it was a concert venue, right? So like it's a concert venue. Is it like, or is it arena style where it's like they're performing in the center and people are seated at all sides?
No, it's a horseshoe shape on the inside. And basically the way you're going to sit, it's not just for live events. It could be for, imagine IMAX that wraps around you.
Yeah.
Okay. But instead of 2,000 seats, 20,000 seats. So it's a lot bigger.
That's
right?
big.
And it's 160,000 square foot internal LCD display. So it's huge, right? And it's wrapping all the way, not all the way around you, but mostly around you. And we do have a picture of the inside of it on our website if you scan that QR code. But the thing is, people have been asking, whose products did they use? I mean, obviously the key components are the video and the audio. We're gonna do a behind the scenes tour and give you more detail on that. But I could tell you that the audio is done by Holoplot, and they use the X1 and the X2 matrix array loudspeaker modules. So I believe the X1 is on the inside, the X2 is on the outside. But I could be mistaken on that because I don't have the article right in front of me. But what you get with those is you have these like almost like LED modules that have individual speakers on them, and they can be steered. So it's like this giant steerable array system. And the idea behind that is to cover every place that you sit, and you get this more immersive sound. So instead of having front, left, right, you have everywhere, so sound can come from everywhere. Now, most things aren't recorded that way. We don't on a studio, on a set, we don't put microphones everywhere, right? We put microphones, based on 7.2 or 9.1 or even 13.1 sound systems. So now this opens up the door for them to build and make movies and TV shows and content, for that matter, immersive like this, where we would put microphones everywhere, so you'd hear every element, and then we'd match that on the display side. So very much like when I was a kid, I was a young adult, IMAX was just starting, and there was no content for it, right? So they had to build the camera, then they had to build the microphones to be able to handle IMAX because it was so much bigger and immersive. Now it's 30 years later, and there's lots of content. There's lots of people producing, like Oppenheimer's produced specifically for IMAX, but you can watch on a regular screen. In 10 years from now, they'll be producing content for the Sphere. This is not the only Sphere that's going to be built. They're building one, I believe, in the UK. They're talking about building one in New York. It's Madison Square Garden Group actually owns the Sphere, and they've created a company called Sphere Studios, who's going to actually produce content. And so if you want to read more about the holoplot, go to holoplot.com. They're the only company that makes stuff like this. Or you can go to our website. We've got articles on both the X1 and the X2. They're based in Germany. It's a cool system. And the opening performance will be U2, and they're going to be doing 25 shows there during the opening month. I think it's the end of September, beginning of October, and they're not sold out. So you can go. There's 20,000 seats times 25 events. There's a lot of seats. So you can go to it, and you can go if you're interested in buying tickets and being one of the first to see it and hear it. Go to thespherevegas.com, and you can buy tickets.
That's exciting. That's really cool.
And of course, the InfoComm being there, I'm sure there'll be behind the scenes tours. There'll be lots of things to do in and around the event. It's interesting because one thing that the industry doesn't know about is this was built for the most part outside of the industry. People in our industry didn't have a lot to do with this. They did it without the support of the industry.
Yeah, which is wild.
So I think a lot of that. Yeah. So a lot of that, I think, is the reason why you haven't heard much about it from our industry.
From our industry.
They kind of did it on their own.
Yeah.
I will tell you a quick story. Jason McGraw invited me to be at a meeting. I'd have to ask him the year. He'll remember these details vividly. At least 10, 12 years ago. And we met with Madison Square Garden Group, and they said, here's what we're going to do. Now, they didn't describe it as a complete sphere. They described it as a half of a sphere. But I guess in the building of it, they decided to build. But they did say we're going to have 20,000 to 30,000 seats. And they described this thing. And I had forgotten about that meeting until I was reminded about it. But I was in the meeting when they talked about this, at least 10, 12 years ago. So this has been, they've been talking about this for many, many years.
Right.
And we were, I think we had just finished doing the projection shootout by that time. So I think that was why I was invited, because of my involvement in that. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So you can read more about, like I said, we also have a video. I don't know if do we have the video to show for this, or you? Yeah, let's play the video.
It's about it. Yeah.
And you could see the Venetian Hotel in the background there, and the Las Vegas Eye. And by the way, Peerless, they're the ones that mounted everything. They built them out for all that. Yeah, so they got,
that's awesome.
That's a good example of like custom job that they did. They all the LEDs were mounted. I think a lot of the holoplot stuff was ultimately mounted the same way. So so Peerless, I'm sure they'll be able to do some case studies on it when it's official.
Yeah, and the 4th of July.
These companies aren't allowed to talk about it yet, but we can talk about it.
We can talk about
it. But anyway, this week also, our friends over at Exertis Almo added Yealink to their product line, and Yealink got a lot of. Cool. Boy, did they get a lot of exposure at InfoComm.
They did. Yealink is like such an up and coming company because they got their start kind of in the more like phone business, like, you know, the office phone. Like that was kind of what they really started. But now that UCC is such a big part of our industry, they basically make so much hardware that can go in virtually any type of office. And if you don't know who Yealink is, like you're going to want to check them out because they are going to probably become like a big name in our industry very soon.
Yep. And
So
they're available now both at Almo, Exertis Almo and TD SYNNEX. And another one of our sponsors is Shure, and they make sound, make studio sound great in every meeting. So check this video out that talks about that.
Collaboration and sound go hand in hand because clear communication is the backbone of team chemistry. When everyone can hear, they stay more engaged. Ideas flow and organizations thrive when teams are in tune with each other. Wherever they are. For nearly a century, Shure has set the standard for audio excellence. And what we've done on stages and in studios works for the workplace too. From startups to global enterprises, we've got solutions that bring more simplicity, clarity, and coverage to conferencing. So teams find their groove and business hits the high notes.
That's a great ad because they did a good job connecting the studio and the meeting rooms to the importance of audio in a studio, to the importance of really good audio in a meeting room.
Exactly. Yeah, Shure's a great company. I am glad that we work with them because
and they just signed up for another year, so we're excited to have them as a sponsor again, and they're one of our founding sponsors along with rAVe. So
the ones who believed in us from the beginning. I love it.
Well, I just remember calling them saying, we're going to do this thing. We have no idea.
Really weird thing. Like,
so now here we are a couple years later. Another big distribution announcement was TD SYNNEX announced yesterday a distribution agreement with Zoom. And so this kind of changes everything from the standpoint of availability of Zoom and integrators being able to sell and integrate Zoom as a software product. Everybody would say, well, Staren's been doing it, but Staren's not the same as TD SYNNEX. This is a big deal. It's been great that Staren's done that, but TD SYNNEX is a very large organization.
Yeah, and, TD SYNNEX and Exertis Almo, like those are the two really big ones, like here in the States for sure.
I mean, biggie. I mean, obviously, Staren's owned by Midwich, was a big company, but but TD SYNNEX having Zoom, that's a big deal because now they have Teams and Zoom. So.
And that's like access to like its channel partners and end users. Like, so it's just like even more.
Right. I mean, now any integrator can now sell Zoom as a service, right?
Yeah.
From a desktop product all the way to up through rooms.
So
there's a case study on our website that you did that you talked about on the Yealink Dallas Customer Experience Center that I think is kind of cool.
They just opened it up, and I just wanted to include this because I think like those experience centers are going to become so much bigger in our industry. It's going to be so much more than just like an office space because so much of the products that they're asking integrators to help sell are like you need to see them and use them to understand how good they are. You know what I mean? Like specs, like just naming off specs off the top of your head, that's like one thing. But when it comes to like UCC and how something is going to function in an office space, like you're going to want to see that before you're going to want to like, say, okay, I think this will work in my customer's office space. Like you want to use it for yourself. So Yealink just opened one in Dallas, Texas, which I think was a very strategic plan because it's like right here in the center of the US and it's their first US one. They have another one in London. And I think that they are going to keep building them like all over the US and other areas because Yealink is so like they're so adamant that you need to try their stuff to understand and really, really be part of it.
And we have a picture of it we can pop up there just to see.
Yeah, that's kind of like what
go.
it looks like, where you just have like a bunch of Yealink products working and like, you know, all over like a center, so you can go into these different zones and try them out.
Yeah, and so you can learn about what they have there and how to make an appointment, and you can actually use it as a sales center if you're in the Midwest, especially in the Dallas area. They're going to build more of these around the country. So you can learn more about that at ravepubs.com, or click that QR code, or scan that QR code, I should say. And then finally, our last sponsor is Legrand. From AV over IP to Wi-Fi. Luxel is a brand that you may not know about. Luxel was a big networking brand in the home AV space, or the high-end residential space, for Legrand for many years. And when I'd go to their booth, I'd always ask them, when are you going to bring that to the commercial market? They're like, well, we're going to have a separate set of products for the commercial market. And they now do. So they actually introduced those late last year. They started offering Luxel for the commercial AV market. They've had it in the residential market. So I don't know if we have any images of any of the stuff that they offer or not, but all, the stuff is available at LegrandAV.com, and
you can scan the QR code, and they gave us a flyer to distribute. So if you scan the QR code, you can check out the flyer, and it has, here we go. Here's what it looks like. And it has all the products on it. So it's, everything for wireless. There's kitted solutions, routers, switches, PoE injectors. Like they've got it all, truly.
Yeah. So if you're interested in adding networking products, you don't have to become an integrator for another company. You can get it from Legrand AV, which everyone sells. There you go. Now we're on there at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is sort of like I guess this is kind of like what is this? This is a infographic, kind of. I guess it's kind of like an infographic.
Yeah,
or a catalog of services, kind of. But you can actually get that on our website, or you can scan that QR code, and it'll take you directly to that. But of course, go to Legrand AV, talk to your Legrand rep, and you can learn more about it. So Steph, I love image mapping, right? I mean, you like projection mapping.
Yes,
love everything
love
about
it.
projection mapping, everything.
Yes,
and you did a story on the Petra the Great, and it's Max Tenacity is the company, I believe.
Max Intensity.
Max Intensity. There you go. Max Intensity.
At the Petra Light Festival, which is like the first ever multimedia show at this set of ruins in Petra in southern Jordan. Have you ever been to Jordan?
I have not.
You haven't? No. I've been to the like border, like between like Israel and Jordan, but I've never been like quite into Jordan. But yeah, it's really it's exciting that this is like the first time they've done anything like multimedia for these ruins that kind of like really brings them to life and like breathes new life into what these look like. So it's projection art, music, storytelling to bring like the theme of the festival to this particular life
storytelling.
Festival, so.
And by the way, people always ask who are the brands and who's on there. Dataton did all the image mapping and serving, and they're using Panasonic projectors all over the place there to do that. So you want to read more about it, you can go to our website, and has that whole entire story there. But people always ask us whose projectors they use, whose audio.
Yeah, and JBL cabinets, I think, as well,
JBL
for the sound.
Professional, the JBL Professional stuff. So we do have an event coming up.
Yeah,
the Pro AV Symposium. We have a lot of events coming up, actually, but one of the events that we want to talk about is the Pro AV Symposium, which is August 30th. So it's the end of August at 1 p.m. Kind of like a state of the Pro AV market. So you have 35 days and 31 minutes to sign up for it before it starts. It's kind of everything Pro AV. So make sure you sign up for that. Just go to launch.com. We will be playing What the Duck. We'll be having fun. We'll be doing some cool stuff. We'll be giving away some prizes and stuff like that during the event. So definitely sign up to attend the event and, you know, hang out with us for half a day.
It's kind of like a baby launch week. Like, you know, like this is basically just the Pro AV day of launch week, but that's because we have like so much has happened in Pro AV recently that we were like, we can't wait for the next launch week to cover all this. Like our industry is in such rapid change that we're
going to have an esports session, by the way,
which is important because that was such a focus of InfoComm. It was crazy. I don't think
my esports webinar I did last week for Exertus Almo. You can go watch that if you're interested in esports. Had Bubba Getter there on there, who is like one of the MCs of esports events, talking about the size of the market. It was amazing. Like the market is almost a $200 billion market. And he talked about how they now call it gaming, not just e-games, right? He was like, hey, Gary, you need to use different terms. It's called gaming now. And there's this whole market. It's bigger than the Hollywood. We've talked about this before. You know, the total movie market in 2023 will probably be somewhere around $70 billion globally, while the gaming market will be over $200 billion. So esports is a big part of the future of the market, and it is projected to grow over 15% over the year over year over the next 4 years, which is on our website as well as a data point. And so we'll be talking about that among other things. So definitely sign up for this session, even if you're not sure if you can attend, because by signing up, we will send you access to the archives. You can play the games if you do attend. And there's a great opportunity for you to learn more. So sign up for that. And I think that's all we got for this week's event.
That's all we've got for this week. So thank you as always for joining us and spending, you know, if you're on the East Coast, your lunch break with us. And if you're on the West Coast, your mornings with us. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye everybody.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.